why I was telling my mom something different happened to my mind. Like after that fall, and then like even like with me toward get ready to get divorced and everything, it's like something different went on in my mind and in my brain. It was something different. And my mom said, "Oh, you'll be all right. Just go to church." I'm going like, "No, that ain't it. Something else going on." And so that's when I went on to a different level of like craziness. Because like after the car wreck, that's when a lot of people, like including Sean Green, a lot of people said that's when I first started to change. Because and I told a lot of people saying when you have like something drastic or near death, like people tell me you jump in front of bullets, like something bad happened instead of running, I go see what's going on, because they had to give me a different type of drive. So then after this one, it's like it's like I was trapped in Malvern in Arkansas. Like like I told, I feel like my mind had become heightened, and like living there was beneath me in a way, and I couldn't take it. So that made me start drinking more. And then, like with the psychiatrist told me, I won't be able to work a regular job anymore because of the things that went down in my brain and my head and the head injury. And me being a stubborn Leo, I said I was a workaholic, not just alcoholic. I was be a functioning alcoholic and working all the time. I said I gotta work. He said, well, you want to be able to do the same thing you used to do? I said, I'm gonna try. So I kept on trying to work jobs. Couldn't keep a job. Uh, I, I had to be able to keep my checking account. I just had two different banks, checking accounts, and all this stuff. Then I started writing hot checks. I'm going. I can remember like when they bouncing and all this. I'm like, why is this happening? Then I remember I had a job working at Xerox at one point in time in Hot Springs. All I had to do take staples out of papers, but they didn't have no windows in the place. And I was sitting there getting claustrophobic, and I like, I can't. I think I had that job 3 times. They could let me come back, but I can't do it. Then I had a job working at the hospital down there on Malvern Avenue, and I was working there in the kitchen, and like people were there, they were talking about gossiping and all this stuff. I can't stand it, so I left there. So then I worked at the laundromat down there in Hot Springs, like off of Malvern and I think it was Grand, and I was working on the cash register. Like I used to work the cash register at Fred's and Food Center. And I said I can do this. Then I kept messing up the money on the cash register. I just walked out. I just left. So then that's when I started drinking more, and then I ended up becoming homeless back then. you know, and I've been, it kind of, I guess it escaped my mind, but then I started remembering certain instances when I was back home, living in Hot Springs, get no name plasma just to stay drunk. And I can't see how I living in shelters in Hot Springs. And then later on I ended up turning myself into a rehab center in Hot Springs, the Hot Springs Rehab Center at the top down by Bathhouse Road. I was in there for a while. And and then I had somewhere to stay for free, but then I would leave to go get drunk and sleep outside. I mean, just looking around and stuff. But then I remember the one time I passed out behind the Entertainer Strip Club. I remember laying down on my back, looking up at the clouds, looking up at the sky, going, "Why am I like this?" And until to this day, and which I understand it now, but the word was so vivid. The word emotions was, I'm looking at these clouds and skies at night, but the word emotions came vivid to me, and I never knew why in all these years. And after the past 2 or 3 years, I've been seeing that's what happens with people is their emotions get all mixed up, and the people get it, pimp people's emotions to psychologically, and like what's going on with politics, like what's going on with almost anything, it's psychological to get in people's emotions. Even with the entertainment can pimp people's emotions to take away their mind and have them acting all ignorant, crazy because they're fiending for something. Because everybody want that feel good feeling. By any means necessary, people want to get that feel good feeling. That's all people want. And then when people can't get it naturally or get it from another human being, they go get it from somewhere.
Right.
And then another thing people got to remember is, people go to church, but it seems like they fail to understand what they're in church for is you're going to gain proper knowledge, information about the evilness. There is evil. So some people are born evil to do a job. So people act like they're surprised when evilness happens. So that's what we want to be prepared and not surprised when certain things happen. So when I look at people, like when I first started getting sober, I had to sit back and watch how people operate normally.
Right.
I felt like a toddler. You know, I mean, my daughter watching me walk across the room. She's on the bed. She can't walk yet, but she was watching my every move. Like, how do they do that? So, like, I had to watch people to see how to act normal. Because in my drunken heydays, it was all about me. Hey, what's up, Bob? You know, I was always doing all my own thing. But then I got sober. I said, I don't even know how to act.
Right.
So I had to watch people to understand how to become normal.
And man, that's powerful, you know, just kind of describing that just that awakening moment, you know, just kind of being born again type of moment that you experience. And that is, here I am just trying to fight boredom to the point where boredom gets the best of me or depression gets the best of me. And you know, I'm hearing you say I had to wake up and look at life differently. And I'm hearing you say, man, that was kind of that turning moment for you to just start seeing things differently.
But actually, like I was in and out of rehab and stuff. Like I left Arkansas, went to Georgia for a year, and then down to Georgia when I ended up coming to LA. And then once I got to LA, I'm sitting here sipping buds, and I found you could drink on, you can go to liquor stores on Sunday. Oh boy, that was on and popping. And so I got here in August of 2007. Then I ended up going to the rehab in December 2007 because drinking, I was getting towed up out here. I mean, I got other stories to talk about that when that led up to me getting to the rehab to get sober, but actually I got there, and then I was in the rehab, and this part is like I say, it's sad and bittersweet, But I'm sober now since then, but it, the night that happened, like during that day, I woke up, I was drinking, going from liquor store, drinking different half pints and stuff. And then I guess I called 911 on myself. I think I used to do that though. And then when I go to rehab, they used to tell me, at least you smart enough to know you need help. You can stop. I got to have professional help to stop. You know. So, and when I went to this during the night, I guess I called 911 or whatever. I was at the McDonald's down off of Western and Wilshire in Los Angeles, and they sent for a cab to come pick me up. And I remember my phone was running low on charge. I don't think they had hand chargers back then, portable chargers. So I went to the cab to get in. He said, "Where you going?" I said, "I don't know. I ain't from here." I said, Then he said, "Well, you find out where you're going. My phone's going running dead, so I'll go back inside the McDonald's see if I can charge it." Then I went back inside McDonald's. The cab pulled off. I went, "Damn, this is welcome to LA, huh?" So I still had like a half pint in my pocket. So to handle my frustration, I went to the bathroom, took a little sip. I said, "All right, just figure this out." So I guess I tried my phone. I guess I might call 911 again. I don't know. But they sent another cab. And then this cab come to pick me up. And then I get in the cab, and he knew where to take me to Glendale. And I'm going over there. And so in the cab, he tried to have small talk with me. But I'm in the back of the cab going, like I was bubbling over with alcohol and liquor,
Right.
And then what's a trip is, I just remember Aaron came across my thoughts, but I'm just in there toe up. I can't even talk or nothing like that. But I remember he came across my thoughts, so I'm like, all right. So when I get to the rehab to the hospital in Glendale, the cab driver was in there talking to the front desk people or whatever. I'm just standing there bobbing and weaving and so then I'm like, they was talking. I said, "Hey, do I got time to go to the bathroom?" They went, "Oh yeah, you go to the bathroom." So while the cab driver talking to them, so I'm going to the bathroom. Then I went to the bathroom. I went, "Oh yeah," I still got that much left in the half pint. So I took it out. I opened it up. I said, "Just maybe this will be the last time I drink." Took a swig and I killed it. Threw it in the trash can. Walked back out there to the cab driver talking to people. Then they took me, I guess, to the emergency room or whatever. So I'm sitting in there in the emergency room getting antsy. I was smoking cigarettes then. So I went up to the lady. I said, "Hey, when are they going to see me?" She said, "Sir, this is not a fast food restaurant." So I'm like, "Man," I said, "How? I gotta wait." So I'm, I used to get anxiety, get real uptight. So I said, "Can I
Right.
smoke a cigarette?" She said, "Yes, you may." So I bet. So I went outside, smoking a cigarette. I lit it and I took a puff. I looked across the street. I seen a CVS. I went, I can go get me some more liquor. So I looked back in the nursing room. I said, they taking too long. So I walked over there. So I walked over there and I grabbed like maybe a liter of gin off the shelf. And I walked up to the counter and I'm towed up. And I'm and I'm going like, so I mean I thought about it. I said, wait a minute. If I take the money out of my pocket, I'm gonna drop it because I know I'm drunk. I'm towed up. I said it's gonna fall out. Then I been able to pick it up. I'm gonna fall. And then the security guard was in there, and I remember in my mind, I said, I ain't come all the way to LA to go to jail. I said, I'm trying to, do all that. And so the security guard made me, think about something bad could happen. So then I went, got the liter of gin, put it back on the shelf, cross street to the hospital, and I waited till they called me up, and the rest is history. But then that's when I wake up, and I remember Kevin Brandon gave me a call and asked me, have I heard or whatever. And then by the way I was sounding, because I was highly messed up that night and they had me up on the medications to try to help me out. So it sounded like, I was groggery on the phone. Then he told me what happened to my with Aaron. Then I'm like, what? So then, I'm like, man, no. So that's when I called Brenda. And then Brenda told me, yes, it's true. So I'm in there going like, because I just talked with him not too long ago. He even talking about coming to LA. Because I was in Georgia, I was calling Aaron, man, come up to Georgia, man. It's happening out here. It's happening. That stuff. Because he always tell me, he said, Buck, one thing about you ain't scared to go nowhere and talk to nobody. And when I was in Georgia, he never did. Then I was in LA, man, you really need to come out here. And this and this and that. Then he said, oh yeah, Buck, I think I will. Then I said, no, Aaron, I said, what you say? Aaron is so calm.
Yeah.
He said, yeah, I think I'm gonna come out there. I was going like, I caught chills. I'm like, what? Man, oh man. So then I was thinking about that. Then this happens. Then when I talked to Brenda, then I said, what? Then I said, I don't know. Man, damn. Then I said, I don't know what to do. Then she said, well, all I know is everyone wants the best for you. And for you to get out and handle your business and to get sober. And and all that type of stuff. But like I say, I've been wanting to off and on, but it just seemed like so magically and mysteriously and spiritually, I got out to rehab and I ain't touching that ever since.
And man, I want to kind of slow down that moment because this is my brother Aaron that you're talking about. And just kind of going back to that and the one person that came into your life that got you out of that boredom, that same person that got you out of that depression and just kind of gave you light and just was able to give you a sense of looking at life differently just through his personality. All of a sudden in 2007, you get this call that he had this tragic accident and has lost his life. And now what I'm hearing you say is that moment just kind of put me right back into that motivational place to do things differently again. And I'm hearing you say just since then, 2007, December the 18th was the day he passed away. I'm hearing you say for about 13 years, I haven't picked up a bottle since, man. What is that like for you to say, here I am 13 years sober?
Like I tell people, every year at that time it's bittersweet. Yeah, it's like, I don't know, it's a trip. And I think about him all the time because it wasn't for him, boy.
Right.
I went down another road. I remember one time he came to me. I was in the wheelchair after the fall, and he came around. I was selling weed. So and people coming in, and everyone just looked at me. What are you doing? He said, we're going raised like this. I said, no, man. I said, I gotta get it how I live. And he's shaking his head like, look. Yeah, I said, man, I want you involved in this. I want you seeing this, all the stuff I did, what I had to do. Then that's when he told me one at the time. Then I played for him one of the songs I was working on.
Yeah.
He listened to it. It was, crazy, funny, and all that stuff. then, you know, me just living in the street life, I didn't understand what he was talking about when he said, look, you just need to get your stuff together and do a one-man show. I'm going like, I don't even know what that means. I'm like, I don't know. So then, can you talk about, and because they talking about you got so many different creativity, so much creativity and ways to do stuff, but you just taking yourself down, you know, and all that. And, you know, like I say, plus with the alcoholisms already in my blood, and then the being bored. So that's why I talk with people when they want to quit, but it's hard. Like the disease of the alcoholism is that's why I try to explain to people. When people get on alcohol or drugs or anything like that, don't get mad at the person per se. Just you get mad at the illness or what's making them behave that way, but
right.
at the person. I mean, this is mental illness and everything, which is hard to do, but just don't get mad at the person per se. You know, like people who go back and forth to jail, go back and forth to penitentiary, or people who got sexual issues or whatever, this and that. Everything stems from something.
Right.
Everything stems from something. So, but then like once I got out here, I started being around the entertainment industry, the real entertainment industry and stuff, and I started seeing it. I went to my first one, it was a one-woman show, and I thought about Aaron, and I seen what she was doing. I went, wow, okay. Then I went to a few more, and then I'm trying to think, like, what was it? Something like yeah. Oh, anyway, but like well, almost everything I do. Oh yeah, then like while I'm out here, I live right down the street from Simpson Street. You know, because I got my housing out here. So and then you know, it's just a triple high everything is played in. But I just know like through him, and I tell people with me, I just stay God conscious at all times too. And I tell a lot of people that, you know, like back in the day, even when I was drinking, like I talked to God more and I prayed more, it seemed like everything. Saying now it's like I stay in visionary mode, but at the same time I stay God conscious. Like I tell some people, I say I just keep the word God in my mind as much as possible at all times as I can.
Right.
Tell some people go, wow, thank you. That helps me because a lot of people, some people got skills to pray, you know, and they go to other people like, I ain't gonna pray because I can't do it like that. So they leave people out. So, but now, but then like you know, with the Aaron thing, I mean, because I think, like I say, bittersweet. I think I was even go be drinking. I think because the way mess up alcohol mind thinks I can Aaron gonna come out here, and but I'll still gonna be drinking. And then sitting out here, so it's like I know I don't need, you know, I don't know, it's just crazy because I can, you know, I can even come out here, he's sober, I can beat out the crazy Bobby Buck and we can do all this stuff. Then when it comes out he's not here, then I let it go.
Man, I mean, it's just kind of that divine intervention, you know, just that moment where you just say to yourself, you know, this just has to be it. It has to be something different. And then when you look at just your mom's Christian belief and just training a child in the way they should go when they get older, and you know, just going through that whole craziness, being just that buck wild phase, and then in 2007, just kind of changing everything around. You know, what are you doing for yourself now? How is Bobby Buck living? You know, in this moment.
Found a place, so now I live over here in the North Hollywood Valley
area. And that's where we are now. And what is life like for Bobby Buck now?
But actually, to tell you the truth, it feels like it's like I'm watching my own movie because I know where I came from. But one thing, I stayed busy out here to pay attention to it until I started to slow down. And then I was like, wait a minute. I'll be walking down the street or walking over. I said, wait a minute, I got my own apartment in North Hollywood. I said, I used to sleep in the trenches here and there and all this stuff. And I'm like, wow. And like I had a vision of things to work out the way it's working out. Yeah, because once I got my housing, the first day I woke up in here, I said, wait a minute, God. I said, and my short-term goal for my vision came true. That means the rest of it got to come true.
Right.
Be open to the spirit and move correctly. So
Mm.
then that's what I started doing. Because, you know, I like to go do it, but then I know when to take my foot off the gas. Okay. And let him, you know, take over. So, you know, but we got to do our part, but we got to have wisdom and know when to take our hands off the wheel and the gas and, okay, get going.
Yeah. Man, and you putting those pieces together, man, and just, you know, before we close, man, as you went through that journey, just of the ups and the downs, and just to kind of see you in a place where you're saying, man, I'm putting those pieces together as I'm looking at this book that I'm writing. You know, what would you say to the Buck Wilds of the world? What would be your advice for them?
But those are the ones I'm working towards and reaching. And because like I say, like with the skills that a person has living in the streets or doing what you're doing or going through what you're going through, you can actually use those skills on the other side.
Right.
And what you're going through right now may be preparation for what the good parts of your life you can do for yourself, which will help others.
Nice.
Because like I said, when I left Arkansas, then went to Georgia, then came to LA, see, people, if they have their own limitations, they try to put them on you. Like people try to say, you're running away from something.
Right.
I'm running towards something.
Nice.
So you got to have your outlook.
That's powerful, man. Don't run away from it, run towards it. You know, always, you know, when I work with my clients that are, you know, being in the mental health field, you know, we learn to run from it because it doesn't feel good. We don't want to face those the depressive like symptoms, those dark places. But when you can get to a place where you can run to those places and still be okay and know you'll be okay, you know, that's what it's all about, because you're no longer living in that fear of going back to those challenging places. So good piece of advice, man. I appreciate you for just sharing that journey, man. Hopefully people will get a chance to know Bobby Buck more, and man, you just keep up the good work.
All right, now I appreciate you, man, and I thank you for being there, checking things out back in the day. And
A good deal, man.